Hello, everybody. I'm coming at you from my. I want to focus so you can see the outside. Coming at you from my laptop. I'm kind of going to go through and show you what the songwriting process is for me. If it is as much a process as me just sitting and forcing myself to be creative for until I have something. I'm just gonna walk you through it, and you can watch what it's like. I got my pen and paper. I got my phone around here somewhere to voice memo record, and I got this going too. And I'm gonna do something on a ukulele today, just because it's more compact, and I don't have to worry about bumping it on the edge of my bed. I do have my guitar over there as well, but this is kind of how I do it. So first of all, I find chords before anything. If I'm gonna sit down and write a song, I've got to figure out chords first, or else it just frustrates me if I figure out a melody and a lyrics before and I don't really have anything to put it to. So I've already found these chords. I always am inspired by other songs. We've gotten to that point in history where every chord progression has already been used, so there's really no harm in taking inspiration, as long as you put your own twist on it and are not just copying it. So there's this song called Coffee that is going around on TikTok, and the chords are something like don't stay away for too long, da 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 something like that. So I am actually going to steal those. However, I'm going to change a bit about it. I think I'm going to do something like and then I'm going to change up the last chord so it's nice and open like that. So I don't know what these chords are. Something jazzy, starting on an A. I don't know what the last one is. So that's what I'm gonna do. So put myself into that mindset. Got those chords playing up here. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of just, I guess, spitball while playing along. And if I find something I like, I'll write it down. And you guys get to see an inside look of how stupid some of the things I come up with are and how freaking cliche and dumb they are until I actually find something I like. Today, let's see, what's something I can focus on? I write too many songs about love, so I'm going to write a song about feeling lonely. Feeling Lonely by Boy Pablo. This is just a cover. No, I'm going to write a song about feeling alone, because that's what a lot of us are dealing with now, is feeling lonely, and especially me. My biggest fear is rejection and abandonment. My two biggest fears, rejection and abandonment. Rejection I have to deal with because any person does. Abandonment is a little more valid of a fear. I'm just afraid of people leaving me. Don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, but it's always my biggest fear because I rely so much on other people. So I'm going to write a song about just being alone, and we'll see how that goes. So that's... Are you there? I've been calling for so long, and I'm missing what we were, what we had before it all went wrong. I'm gonna switch up the chords a little bit. If you care to remember my name, if you care I'll tell you, I'm aching inside and missing you so. And simply, that's all I want you to know. Sorry, something popped up on my laptop. I don't remember anything I just said right now, so usually this is when I'd go back and look through a voice recording and write down the things that I liked. For me, songwriting is a lot of improv, and then recording that improv, and then turning that improv into something written down so I can come back to it. I'm going to be completely honest, I don't put a lot of time and effort into my lyrics. Often, I kind of just BS something that sounds good, and then I'm like, okay, sure. But really, my lyrics are not that deep because I don't want to force that. If I have something deep to say, I will say it. I will write that song. But just often it turns into something very, I guess, one-sided and not as deep as some wonderful musicians have been. I'm really a fake songwriter, if we think about it that way. So this is the point where I would go back and write down what I liked, maybe go through it again, realize that there's something really stupid that I came up with and cross that out and try to come up with something else. I rarely finish a song in one sitting. That's kind of impossible. Usually what I'll do is I'll record it, I'll write a verse and a chorus, come back to it months and months later, or when I need something to perform, like all the coffee houses I did in high school. One of my favorite songs I've ever performed at coffee house was one called, what was it called? It was one that I wrote, and I played it in like 11th grade, and it was like, about snow and, oh my gosh, why can't I remember the name of my own song? It's like, why did it have to snow? I hope you know that it crosses my mind every once in a while. What was that song called? I don't remember what it was called. There was one that like, I like to know that I cross your mind every once in a while, and I'd like it if I do. What is that song called? I can't remember the name of my own song, but that song, I only wrote the second verse to it as I was waiting in line for my audition. And if that isn't pure procrastination and the most mild-listening thing ever, I don't know what is. And I ended up really, really liking that verse. I thought that's one of my favorite things I've ever written, is that verse where it goes, I met the moon and she was nice. I should have taken her advice. Be afraid of the sun, though he seems so bright. Don't let him have your heart. Really weird lyrics, but I really like, if you look into the metaphor, it was one of the first metaphors I ever wrote. I'm going off on a tangent. This is no longer a tutorial. It is just me rambling. But that's about how I do it. Honestly, everyone's like, how do you write songs? I'm like, I don't. I mean, I do, but they're not anything special. They're just kind of just me, my brain. Like, I am very, very ADHD, confirmed, not on medication for that yet, and I don't know if I'm ever going to be, just because so much of my creativity goes on because my brain wanders, and that's why I think I can end up just sitting down and putting together something in one go, be a one-take wonder, and record a song because I'm improvising it. But essentially, that's how it works. That's how my brain goes, boo-ba-doo, blah, blah, blah. That's how I make it happen. So yes, this was kind of really on a whim. I sat down to record a cover, but then I decided that I didn't want to record that cover. So I ended up doing this. And I hope that somebody found this helpful. And I encourage all of you songwriters, if you write songs, to also show your songwriting process. kind of walk through how you write a song. Write a really crappy song just to show, just for fun. I think it's so interesting to see how everybody does it, because I feel like everybody has their own very unconventional way of being creative when it comes to songwriting, and I definitely have an unconventional way. Yeah, so thank you if you sat through this whole thing. I don't even know where I'm gonna post this, if I'm gonna post this. My hair matches the hearts, and it keeps focusing strangely, but you know, that's what it's like when you're recording on photo booth. So yes, much love. Perhaps that song will be a thing one day. Probably not, because I respect whoever wrote Coffee too much to completely rip off her chords. But you know, that's about how I do it. And I hope you guys all give it a shot, because it's one of the coolest forms of creativity out there, is songwriting. Because it's music and poetry in one. Amazing. Almost like all music is. But yes, thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. Be healthy, be safe, and you are loved. Bye-bye.